Welcome back, everybody. It's another day in the workshop working on the massive master closet system. I've got to get this cranked out and 100% done today. Well, at least this section, so I can get it out of the workshop and start the other face frame on the wall that I've already installed. I'm going to start the day off with some sanding. Doesn't everybody love just to start sanding as soon as they get up in the morning? 120 grit, then 220, and then hand sanding. Because this is too aggressive for this soft pine to take onto the corners. All your corners have to be rounded over, or else your lacquer will, or paint, lacquer, whatever you put on there, will start flaking off. Especially on the inside corner where people are going to be putting clothes in and out, in and out. Going to use the shop vac and the Tornado. Is that what it's called? Tornado. Maybe later in this video I'll go over this dust collection system and we'll check it, because it only collects a 5-gallon bucket. It uses the suction of the shop vac. It's not supposed to go in the shop vac. I'm pretty sure that bucket's full, so we'll check that after we're done here. Just want to give everybody another reminder that the Nick's Handmade Boots giveaway is still open. You still got about 8 days to get entered. You don't have to buy anything. There's no catches. All you need is your name and an email, and you get a pair of their quick ship boots. $570 is what these boots cost. They can be yours for free. Link will be in the top of the description box. Also, if you want to get yourself a pretty sweet caulk gun sweatshirt or hat, that'll be the second link in the top of the description box. I'll also pin it in a comment. If anybody's wondering, it was 41 minutes of non-stop sanding to go over this with 120 and then 220. The 120 was used to do all the minor shaping. I'm just running that over a little bit. It's not something I would set up the router table for, to put over that tiny little bit of a round over. You just want to give something for that lacquer to stick to. That tiny knife edge, things don't tend to stick to. So I got to take this outside, blow it all off with the air compressor, bring it back in. I got to put some pre-stain conditioner on there. Because this is pine, it will get all blotchy and it won't look nice and uniform like this one does. Alrighty, this is my spray room. This is the top shelf to that bank of shelves that ties in to the other wall. You'll see how all this goes together in this video. But before we do that, this has to get 3 coats of lacquer. A light coat, a medium coat, and a heavy coat. So this is going to be the upside. No one's ever going to see this. I'll spray this one first. I'll cook it. I'll get this room to like 80 degrees, and then I'll flip it. Sits on these really soft rags, and then this is the side that you will see from standing on the ground, and then cook that, and this thing will all be ready to go to handle and have on either side. Oh, so an hour and a half is what I'm shooting for. I'm going to flip back and forth because I got to go sand the face frame that's in the other room. Just need my air compressor hose. This is already mixed from yesterday. We'll definitely need to mix up another batch before I finish. I've got videos on all of this stuff I'll link them down in the description and in the comments. I'll pin a comment. One thing you got to make sure is your breather hole doesn't get clogged. Now back to the other room. Probably should be wearing some sort of man apron so I don't get this on me. Wouldn't want to stain my caulk gun sweatshirt. There'll be a link in the description where you can get one. Or if you stained yours, you can get another one. This is looking really nice for pine. Still haven't lacquered it, but it's dry enough to handle. Just put it up on top of the box to get an idea of the color match, and I couldn't be happier. It is a perfect match. Not seen anything blotchy. It's gonna come out amazing. This is a satin finish, so this here has 3 coats of lacquer on it. It's hard to tell. But if you touch it and feel it and look at it in person, you can tell. It's a little tricky getting an even coat on this because you got to hit it at so many different angles. But I have the temperature cooled down to right about 60. And what that does is it keeps it wet. Maintaining a wet edge so those layers blend in and flow out is key. So I'll let this sit here for maybe 5 minutes at this temperature and everything will start to flow together. Then I'll heat it with the heater, check anything for imperfections, and then hit it up with another coat. I'm about to put the last coat on. I'm going to hit it at a little bit different angles. It's all about maintaining that wet edge and an even coat, especially now on the last heavy coat. So this is serious business now. This is where all this work can be ruined. That's gluing the face frame to the cabinet box. So what I'm going to do is a full practice run about how I get the glue out. I got to get it on the face of all these shelves, and then I've got to get the face frame up on here aligned perfectly down to the nanometer and clamped down before the glue sets. And it can't be off. Can't be off at all. It's got to be like perfect. It's go time. Are we looking so far? Oh, through it now. All right, there. I got it all clamped up, and it came out better than I expected. Went easier. I think that dry run, that practice run, made it go as well as it did. I don't have these cranked down because I don't want to imprint the clamps into the wood. It's just enough to get a tiny little bit of squeeze out, and that's it. It's my pencil. Ooh, cool it, Handy. Cool it down now. All right. See, we got 83 1/8 of an inch. So I have the face frame of the long wall laid out backwards, as in this side here is what's going to get glued and screwed to the shelf and the legs. I don't have anything other than this little tool here to create the pocket holes in a long board. So again, I'm still searching for an updated system where if I had a full sheet of plywood, you can't stand a sheet of plywood up here 8 feet on the workbench. So this is my solution. It just clamps right on. This is, I guess, a 3/4 block, because if you put this right here, right flush like that, and clamp it on, it's set up for going in 3/4 inch plywood. Of course, this is going deeper, but it's also meant for this width here of 3/4 inch, so that the hole ends up right in the middle of this as it goes into this piece. It's a little sloppy as far as the setup. Getting it centered, getting it 90 degrees. I'm looking for something a little more pro grade. Well, now it's clamped on. It's all aligned. The collar is set for the right depth. And there you have a pocket hole. Came out pretty darn good. There's really only room for one pocket hole on this. It's going to get pocket holed and glued. This is how I want it. Come on. I think this is how I wanted to do it. Now it's face up. I was a little sketchy moving this around, but it didn't go that bad. Everything's got to get sanded. All the edges got to have a slight round over, and then I can stain it. So I get to do my favorite thing in the world: sand. Sanding wood. How is this looking? It's looking pretty good. So I let it dry a little more than 1 hour. It's the next evening. So this has had about 24 hours to dry. And it's time to get sanding, staining, and lacquering. I did want to give an update on the mini split I have out here. I did a full installation video on that toast. I think I call it a toast. It is it's a Chinese knockoff of a Chinese knockoff, but it has been working great on heat pump mode. I kick on the furnace that's up in the ceiling and this at the same time to get this place heated from 40 degrees to 65 degrees in about 30 minutes. And then I kick off the propane heater and just use this to kind of sustain the temperature. If it's like 0 degrees to 20 degrees or even colder, this can't keep up. The temperature will start slowly creeping down. But if you're 35, 40 degrees, that toast 12,000 BTU heat pump is sufficient to heat this 20 by 20 workshop. I know a lot of guys out there have workshops, and I appreciate everybody sending me pictures and video clips on Instagram of their own workshops. A lot of people give me a hard time because I have a workshop that is in disarray. It doesn't look like a social influencer's workshop. We'll save the rest of that conversation for one of those live streams. You can watch all the old live streams down in the description. Become a Patreon, and there are hundreds of hours of late night man talk. I gotta get back to sanding. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Get yourself a hat. I think this is one of my prototypes. I was going for a Magnum PI look when I came up with this. I still got to work on the M or the H. But I also got caulk gun sweatshirts. They'll be linked down in the description. All right, everybody. We're going to do it. I haven't looked inside of here forever. This is the Dust something. Tornado Dust Deputy. There is a Craftsman 60 horsepower shop vac right there that sucks in here, and this is the input, and I have all these gate valves to 3 different areas. So what's supposed to happen is dust and debris comes in here, spins around, falls down into here, and nothing makes it over into the 60 horsepower Craftsman shop vac. I haven't looked in here in forever, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to open this, and then we're going to slide out the 60 horsepower Craftsman and take a look in there. And there we go. Look at that. There's some old beard hair in here. Oh, that's hilarious. That's one of my old whiskers. It's about 5 inches long. That's a lot of sawdust. Worked pretty good. Now I'm going to slide over the 60 horsepower Craftsman shop vac, and we're going to open that up. I believe I put a brand new filter in there like 2 years ago. It could be even 3 years ago. I haven't touched this in a long time. All right, I gotta move. I got this router table set up right here, so the router is sunk in. I'm going to crank the router up, give us a little room to slide this out. So this dust collection, I've got a port that plugs into a whole fence for this router table, and it works amazing. So here's a shot underneath the router table. Lots of sawdust around here. Let me slide this out, and we're going to check inside there, see if we got a clogged filter or not. Look at that. So as you can see, we have nothing in the bottom. That filter isn't clogged by any means as far as shop vac filters go, but I'm going to pop that off, take it outside, bang it off, maybe blow some air through it, and see if we can get a little more flow. I'm also going to empty that out before we get started sanding again. But I think that is pretty good for, this was supposed to be a temporary setup until I had more time, and that was 3 years ago, because it worked so good that I didn't need improvements on it. For those of you wondering where I got a 60 horsepower shop vac, 60 peak horsepower. So, I don't know what the nominal horsepower is. My dad gave this to me when he was cleaning out his garage. He says, I don't want that thing anymore. It's too loud. I said, well, I'll take it. Take it. Who couldn't use a 60 horsepower shop vac? So that's it. There is silicone on here. This is through bolted with nuts and bolts, washers on both sides. When you turn this on, I think this thing like halfway caves in. We'll we'll click it on here real quick. I got it hooked up to this remote control. So right now the gate valve that is open goes all the way through the floor, up and over, around the workshop, and back down to here. This is the hose that I use for the sander, my track saw, and the router table. I have one that goes to the table saw, but I didn't use it for a long time. Once I got my zero clearance table saw insert, all the sawdust went down inside the collection inside the table saw. So there's probably 1.5 feet deep of sawdust inside the Powermatic. Anyways, let's see what this looks like. It's spinning around and it just dropped down into there. I always wondered how those big chunks made their way all the way through and dropped in there. So that made it through a good 30 feet of hose just now, and we'll see what we sucked up just from the ground here. This is one of the pieces that I just sucked up right from here. Pretty cool system, very affordable too. Takes a while to fill up this 5-gallon bucket. All right, back to work. Yeah, the hard part's over. Now I get to switch to hand sanding. I'm going to use the same 120 grit and work on the sides, and I'm also going to put a slight round over. So I'm just about finished up with 120 grit, and then I got to do the whole thing all over again with 220 grits. Running out of battery, running out of storage room on my camera there. So I'm going to skip all that and come back when it's time to stain. These lights gonna turn on? What the heck? All right. Okay, everybody, it's time to spray this thing. Our little practice run. Up, down, across, down, up, down. I think that's how it's gonna go. I can't spray in that room because this whole thing is too big. Fight about that in the comments about that. You can just fight over it. Fight it. Here it goes. Not bad at all. Woo. Kicking ass. This is the last coat. Can't make any mistakes on the last coat, or else you got to make another coat. So hopefully this coat goes as smoothly as the last coat. So since this is the last pass and I want it to level off, I'm going to go out through the door and leave it open so it cools down and slows down the curing process as much as possible to give it time to flatten out. Here's a close-up. You see it in the light. This lacquer works so good. Just levels off, comes out nice and smooth. Now, can I finish the project without breaking it? These are not that great of joints. There's one screw and some glue. These butt joints like this don't hold up well as far as the glue goes. Most of this strength comes from that one screw. I just got the face frame delivered and it is just friction fit in place. Probably wondering how the hell I got it here without breaking it. I had this board here screwed to the 3 legs, and it was just one lightweight piece of wood frame. It's not attached. These legs are still dangling a little bit, but everything is friction fit. This top one here is just perfectly snugged in. These ones here rest right on the floor. And I got to go back to the workshop. There's been a change in plans. This was supposed to be another closet rod here with just 2 adjustable shelves in this area. Well, now the entire thing is going to be adjustable shelves from the floor all the way up. So that is a new next phase, is to make a whole bunch of shelves. That bank got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down to the final hours of this closet build, at least in this phase. I've kind of skipped cutting the shelves. This is going to be the bottom rail in that center section. It's going to kind of tie everything together. This is the bottom shelf that is going to kind of replicate the look that's in the other bank of shelves. But for the, how many are here? 4? For the other 4 shelves are going to be adjustable, and they're not going to have a permanent thing on the front of them. They're getting edge banding. So I thought I would include this part of the project in the video since it's a little bit unique. Putting edge banding on, how to cut the excess off, sanding, staining, lacquering. I'll probably skip that part because you've already seen it over and over and over. There's a lot of it in this style of woodworking or cabinet making or furniture making. This is what it looks like. You can get it at Lowe's. This is probably some of the lower quality stuff. I've got some of the higher quality stuff that I order off the internet from some woodworking website, but it's either pre-finished or the wrong species of wood. I needed something that didn't have a finish on it that was the correct species. So this is birch. You see how well that matches right there. And it's iron on. Iron on, give you a close-up so you can see the glue. It's basically got hot glue embedded on the back of it. You see how thick it is? It's pretty thick. And you heat it up, glue it on, and cut the excess off. Well, only one edge of these shelves is going to get the edge banding. That's the front edge that you're going to see. And I've got everything laid out where the front face is facing me. And show you how I do it. It's pretty straightforward, common sense, although that's not very common these days. And I'm going to do one at a time. I'm not going to go do any sort of production type stuff here. You can already see some quality control issues in this, but we can sand those out. Hopefully this is heat it up. Yeah, sizzling. I like using the big iron. Just slowly make my way across. The front part starts warming it up. By the time the tail end comes across, it's nice and hot. Put some nice firm pressure down on it. I've got a roller somewhere that I have used in the past, but more times than not, I haven't used any sort of roller. Some nice firm pressure. This is a fast cap trimmer. I'll leave a link in the description for this. So you can see there's a little edge there. This is 3/4 inch edge banding, and this is, I don't know how, some sort of millimeter Indonesian birch. It's pretty easy. Slide it right on down. I'm going to get this back tail end here. That's it. For the ends, you could probably use a lot of different methods. I just use a regular utility knife razor blade. So with a nice slicing motion, come from each side. If you cut all the way through it, you're going to have tear out on whatever side you're trying to cut all the way through. Again, like I said, most of this stuff is common sense. Frosty. Let's see if we can do this without messing it up. Got to keep this hand clean. This is the bottom hand, so no handprints. Oh wait, this one doesn't get. That one doesn't get stained. All right. Seven minutes to do that. I'll probably speed it up to 20x, which means 20 times the speed. Get it down to about 45 seconds. Here it goes, no turning back. Let's rock and roll. That one's still gluing. Alrighty, whoo-wee. That was a long time in the closet. Finally got out though. Hope you enjoyed the series. If you didn't know, this is the last video in a multi-part series. A lot of it was on how to finish wood, lacquer, the type of wood I've used. I do not recommend this Indonesian plywood. You can watch my opinion change throughout the series of videos. Would it be worth paying double for a different type of plywood? Not sure if the extra work involved to work with that fragile plywood kind of would be offset by the extra price of buying higher quality plywood. You always have to be careful of that top layer of veneer. It can catch on things and peel off. Usually the more you pay, the better it is. And when you avoid the big box stores, go to a lumber yard or a hardwood specialty store. A lot of people love when I say that. You will get higher quality plywood. Thicker veneer on the top layer, better glue, less tear out. So I definitely won't use it again, and maybe prices will have come down by the next time I have to do a cabinet build or a built-in or a dresser or something like that. I don't make that much furniture, but I do make a decent amount of wood boxes, cabinets. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. New videos every day. Goodbye.